Well, hello, hello. We just got back from the ISA Expo, and I'll tell you what, it was a beast of a show. Had no idea how big it was. I mean, we always know how big it is, but how many people came back to it? The real true show past COVID. You know, we went to Atlanta last year, but it was not even close to the size of the Vegas show. So super excited to be there. We're going to walk you all through it. This is kind of the behind the scenes of Square Coil this year, and I kind of want to walk you through the madness of what we had. We also have our Square Coil implementation specialist, Marissa Peacock, with us today.
Hi there. Excited to be here.
Yeah, and she's going to be walking with us. But first, a couple things. Number one, thank you. 30,000 downloads in the last 4 weeks. Our message is getting out there. People are hearing us. People are subscribing. I can't thank you enough. We're always trying to add value to the industry and add value to your life and make you more profitable. So the fact you're listening, you guys are rock stars, and thank you so much. Also, we unveiled my book. You guys, this is the first time I'm telling you guys this, the aaronclippinger.com. You can get on my website, and then the infrastructure book is what I wrote. Small booklet to teach you the things that we've been noticing. So go ahead and download it. It's free. Go to the website, download it, read it, and hope that's going to add value to your guys' company. So ISA, when did the expo start for us?
So we woke up very early in the morning. I am not a morning person. On Tuesday and drove out. I want to say we were butts and seats, BIS, at 5 a.m.
Yeah, so that was the actual show. But for the ISA Expo, we actually started in December, starting to prep for it and plan for it and move.
My goodness, we're already starting to talk about next year's today. So yeah, absolutely.
In December, we realized that we didn't have enough TVs at our booth. We didn't have enough demonstrations going for the last couple of years. We felt really bad to have people have a line at our booth. And so we said, okay, let's get a big booth, a lot more area, a lot more way to capture people's attention and basically give a nicer, more relaxed area.
Yeah.
And with that, we started to work on a brand new booth. And for those who saw it, we got a lot of great feedback, so we're super excited. But it was a gigantic 20 by 20 booth. It was 18 feet, 22 feet tall.
Yeah.
We had 5 different TVs running, all the different demonstrations going. We had side conversations, side profiles going on with what can we do with you guys, what can we do with your company along with the demonstration. So we definitely checked the box of getting more to it. Did it help at all?
So there's a saying that I'm going to steal from Field of Dreams, but if you build it, they will come. And I feel like that's what happened to us. We gave them a bigger space and more people came. I think that some of the feedback we've had from our people were, hey, we wanted to come by and say hi. Hey, we wanted to see you. Hey, we wanted to talk. And you guys were absolutely slammed. So I think it was an amazing booth. And also, when are we going to go bigger?
I'm scared. I'm really scared to go bigger. So 4 months into it. So I really guys want to take you down the back side of a trade show booth, because if you're a sign company and you only see the front end, there is so much that goes into getting a trade show ready. So 4 months ago, we decided we want to do a bigger booth, get more audience participation, give a greater feel. And so we ended up meeting with 2 or 3 different trade show companies and say, who has our best vision at heart? We ended up settling on one who, ironically and beautifully, the one that we loved was the one that was only 2 blocks away from our shop. So it was really easy to keep working with them and dialing in and make the experience great. And we worked with them on the logo and the layout for, 6 weeks.
Yeah. We
want to look like this. We want the corporate colors this way. And we really, really dialed it in to make sure. You know, I remember even looking at it and saying, okay, those are pinch points. This table is too close to the booth. Nobody can get by there. It's got to be simple and easy to use.
Yeah.
And so we went through all that. Then it was chair testing day.
Yeah.
And that was just sitting our butts in different chairs. We're like, these are comfortable. These are there. And for the people that were at the booth, you're welcome. You know, because you were sitting there walking around for 3 days trying to see everybody, and your feet hurt. Heck, our feet hurt. And actually sit in a comfortable chair was a blessing all on its own.
Agree.
It was something that you kind of looked at and went, oh, thank you, goodness. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're able to do that. And then there came some of the real work on the background was all of the little things.
Yeah, the details.
Yeah, and it really was, we had to start doing the new flyers and setting the flyers up. Then we had to start organizing this how we were going to do it. And 4 or 5 people came and converged onto us. How are we going to handle accounting questions?
Yeah.
How did we end up deciding on that? I'll let you share with that for a little bit.
Yeah, I think kind of naturally within the office, we all sort of went to what we like the most. As you mentioned, I'm implementation, so I like the people and I like to really talk. We have sort of a good sales, some good support, and then we have an amazing accountant, and she gets pulled into a lot of questions. So we were sort of like, hey, we want to make you this special being, and we voluntold her that she was coming.
Yes, yeah, voluntold. I like that. I'm gonna steal that one. Voluntold. Then that was true. Stephanie's the CFO for Integrated Signs. My sign company down here, which is beta test ground zero. In a lot of ways, they're the ones that have to deal with all the mess that we program before it gets all worked out. And as we told her, said, hey, you have to come because we need that extra drive in accounting. Yeah. We need it. A lot of companies, as much as I hate to say it, accounting is a difficult area. It's a difficult department. And sign companies just go, hey, if I just build more signs, we install more signs, the money will work itself out. We really don't need a strong accounting presence. And they couldn't be further from the truth. And so because of that, we really wanted Stephanie to come down, look at the accounting world and say, hey, this is how your bookkeeping should be. You should be doing this for XYZ reasons. If you don't write purchase orders, then this is the problems that are going to have. And really have that one-on-one time with the client. That was really important for us to get that information out there. And so we were very excited to have Stephanie come on board with us. She was very gracious to come with us. And she flew out so she could be at the sign company as much as possible. And then she rode home with us a day after the show. But that was a huge plus at our booth.
I totally agree. And I think it was unexpected for a lot of people. They had come last year, the year before. And I mean, don't forget, Aaron, this was our 10-year anniversary. Well done. Very exciting.
10 years, God, it kind of a blink, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And so I think people were kind of expecting a little bit of the same. And then to come to that booth and to see, as you said, this 22-foot tower. We had the big hanging sign. There were some tears putting all these things together, but
I want to get into that in a little bit. I do want to get into that.
But people were impressed, and I think it was unexpected to see Stephanie there. So to have somebody like, oh, this is your accountant. This is a real live person that uses the software, but also knows accounting, I think was a huge pull and unexpected.
I love it. No, it's true. And it was. I was very gracious to have her there. There was a couple times that I have an accounting background, and there was 2 questions that I'm 99% sure this is the answer, but hold on real quick. Stephanie, how we do it this way? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, good. I know what I'm doing. But to have that second level there was really, really nice. So that we added, more value to the booth. We had that there, and yet it's still at the same time we had a line. But I'm gonna stop that thought process now. I want to go back even further to the week before. So you said our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And I will tell you guys, the first year that I went to the trade show booth, I actually grabbed my girlfriend and my parents to help run the booth. It was literally me by myself. I was a one-man band. And my biggest expenditure was a tablecloth. I literally had a little plastic table, and the cloth that had my old name of the company was on the front. and we had bought beach balls with the little corporate name on there. We're handing out beach balls, and that literally was that was it. That was a aha moment. We had a little box of 500 beach balls, and we started handing them out. And people were like looking at this weird piece of plastic inside of another plastic, and they're like, yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. And they put it in their pocket. And so within like 10 minutes of the very first day, I started blowing them up. And I'm not going to lie, there was over 500 beach balls, these little tiny beach balls around the Orlando trade show. Everyone, people were throwing up and down. The kids were running around with them. Our name got out there fast. So I'm not going to lie, the beach balls did work.
Yeah.
But that was a tablecloth and beach balls and a little monitor, and that was it. That was the entire booth. Talk about having a 10 by 10 booth, and we still had lots of room. That we did. It was so tiny. So now fast forward 10 years later, and now we're worrying about traffic patterns in our booth. We've grown a little bit, I guess.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a week ago, now was crunch time. The week before the trade show was crunch time.
Yes, it was.
So we're trying to get all the pieces. We're cannibalizing our old booth. So we're taking out the chairs and the booths, and the chairs weren't that comfortable. We said we can't do that again. And we were finding old flyer displays. Yep. We're trying to find our old business cards because, frankly, being a software company, we don't need business cards. No, we have electronic, and we mail stuff out, and I got our signature there. But at the trade show, nobody's walking around with a laptop. And so that's like the one and only time we use our business cards.
Yeah.
And then we had some new hires, so they didn't have cards. So then we're scrambling to get business cards. So we dialed all that in, finally got it squared away. And then for me, being the OCD type A personality that we've talked about,
What?
Yeah, hundreds of times before, the listeners know who I am. Monday, we didn't get a chance to breathe. When I say we, I mean me. I didn't get a chance to breathe. How nice was I?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say a solid 1.5, maybe.
I think I bit your head off.
It was unexpected.
I bit Crystal's head off, Jamie's head off. Every single person that even remotely gave him the long neck chicken in the yard to kind of just went like this, I fucking whacked it off. I was like, you do your job, you do it now, or clean your resume up. I was losing my mind on Monday.
Yeah.
From all the stress and everything going on, and I didn't have a chance to look at my checklist and go, do we have A?
Right.
Do we have B? Do we have C? And I had to rely on people's ESP because I didn't have a chance to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
So I just prayed you magically knew what you were doing, which is very not friendly or nice to do. And when you didn't do it, I was like, what the hell? What were you thinking of?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm eating, leaving, sleeping, breathing this trade show for the last 4 months, and you guys have been doing the day-to-day grind while I'm preparing for this.
Right.
So you guys aren't living it like I am. So Monday was a rough one. So I will honestly tell you morale was at 0 going into the trade show. What was it from your guys' point of view?
I mean, luckily you got a great team, and we were all sort of, okay, I think that maybe he's just a little bit more stressed than we expected. And so we kind of self-rallied a little, but we were definitely like, we need him to just tell us that we're going to do a good job. That's all we need. Just he's going to do it. It's going to be fine. I think ultimately, because we are a tight team, it wasn't as bad as I think you're thinking it was, but it wasn't great. I mean, we certainly weren't like singing the Square Coil rah rah song.
Totally. Yeah, no, I basically did exactly what I tell people not to do. And that's exactly what I did. So congratulations. We're all human. This does happen. So I'm biting everybody's head off. They're leaving, and then we decided to push off from my residence at 5 a.m.
BIS.
So everybody gets there. We're tired. We're groggy.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of staring at each other like, where do you sit? Where do I sit? And we push off. Now, all the cargo containers had already been shipped out. So
Thank goodness.
the whole booth was already there.
Yeah.
And so we had to take off. And on a side note, for Tesla owners, don't do it long distance. Well, I mean, I had to stop 2 times from San Diego to Vegas to charge.
Yeah.
That added another hour to the already excruciating drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to – I love my Tesla. Don't get me wrong. I love it to death. But for long drives, you better pack a Snickers.
Yeah.
Because that is just brutal. So, side note. So we get to Vegas. It's Tuesday. It's warm. Mm-hmm. And this was a horrendous winter. We pretty much had rain for 4 months.
Yeah, we're not used to the warmth. It
No,
was crazy.
we weren't used to warmth.
Yeah.
We weren't used to sun. We had no idea what this weird yellow thing was in the sky. Our skin's albino. Like there was nothing there.
Yeah, we did not look like San Diegans.
No, as soon as we popped out, we're like, whoa, what is this? So we're all thrown off by the weather. We hike in, and of course, if you've ever been to the ISA Expo, it's all union. So you can't carry anything the back door. Yeah. So it was 50 feet from the back door to our booth. But they made us carry all our stuff almost 1.5 miles to get there because of the unions. You didn't want to spend the extra $800 or $900.
Yeah.
So we're carrying everything, we're flogging everything, and we show up, and there's 3 boxes, and we got to start.
Yeah. And this is the first year that we've had these 3 crates. So last year, we knew what to do. We were kind of hit the ground running. This year, and also our communication wasn't at its top notch. So there are these 3 massive crates that no one's ever seen. We have a picture of how it's supposed to look at the end, and then just here you go.
Yeah, IKEA's instructions looked amazing compared to those. Yeah. So we had nothing. We just had to start moving. On the IKEA instructions, you read page 1, put these 2 pieces together. Page 2, there's your done cabinet. You're like, whoa, wait. Even then, IKEA would have been better than what we have.
Yeah.
So what takes normally 2 hours to set up our booth.
Yep.
Took us 7 hours.
It did indeed.
Okay, so from 5 a.m. we charge like a champs.
Yeah.
From 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., 10:30 we land in Vegas. No food.
Yeah.
No nothing. Now Jamie, bless her heart, had bet us little snack packs.
She had.
So we weren't dying, but it wasn't smart. We should have stopped, reloaded, and we didn't. Just start building the booth. We thought 2 hours done like every other time. We'd be done at 1 p.m. and we go get a nice lunch.
Oh, I was looking for the lazy river, Aaron. I was like, this is going to be the first year I'm going to be in the tide pool. Absolutely.
Yep. And at 1:30, we realized that we were going to be there till dark.
It was bad.
And so we said, okay, let's get sandwiches. Let's take off.
Oh, the sandwiches.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right. And I'm pretty sure it was you.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many calories do I eat normally in a day?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. You would think I wouldn't know after the end of this story, but I know that you probably solidly have 4,000 calories a day.
I'm between a 4,000 and 5,000 calorie diet a day.
Yeah.
I'm eating solid 4, most of the time 5 meals a day.
Yeah.
I burn through calories. That's just how my body works and runs.
And you're not a picky eater. Like you could bring anything to you, and if you are hungry, you will eat it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I know both of these things about you. And yet.
And yet, so Marissa goes off. She gets sandwiches, and of course, as soon as you say food, you listeners, you guys know. As soon as you hear food, your stomach goes. Instantly. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm hungry. It's time to go." So I'm like, "All right, let's go get some sandwiches." And she goes, "I think there's a Subway right around the corner. I'm going to go there." My stomach started going, sandwich, some food. And as she was walking away, she said, everybody's ordered. Everybody just goes, turkey. Everybody's fine. So you leave. We're putting the booth together. 20 minutes goes by. And I'm looking at everybody going, I am now starving. I am needing food. And as soon as you came back, the union guys had showed up to start setting the booth up. So now I have to deal with them. So I can't stop, relax, have some food, regroup. I now have to eat on the fly. So you put the bag down to try and reinvent yourself or replug yourself back into the booth. And I reach in the bag and grab the first sandwich that's there. Let alone did I know that Crystal had decided to pick a different sandwich than the rest of us, and she had a special one. And of course, out of the 9 sandwiches or 6 sandwiches that are in there, I pick Crystal's. Yeah. Take a big old bite of that, keep walking. She's like, well, that's Crystal's. I'm like, uh-oh. And then she goes, I had bought you and Jeannie a footlong to split.
Bless my heart.
I eat a footlong as an hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah.
Like, a footlong Subway sandwich is nothing. I like one of those little beavers in the Warner Brothers cartoons. She goes, okay, what else is in there? What else we got? And so I look at that, and Jeannie looks at you and looks at me, and she goes, Aaron, I won't eat. And Jeannie's a rock star. I swear you just give her a drip of water, and that girl can run for a couple days. Like, she's amazing.
Like a camel.
Yeah, she is. So I eat her sandwich, I eat my sandwich. I'm still starving. It is what it is. And we continued building the booth. So that was at 2 o'clock. We walked out of there at 6:30.
I want to say it was probably 6 because I think because I was back in the room by 8, like asleep by 8:05. So.
At 6 o'clock we got done. and I remember people saying, I don't care if the TV's upside down. You could tell we were done.
Oh,
we were trashed. The wires, we didn't care about the wires. We didn't care about anything else. And I said, okay, take the computers and lock them up inside the tower, and we're going to call it a day.
Oh, yeah.
And the computers didn't get locked in the kiosk. Take a mental note, is that we're going to come back to that little story.
Mm-hmm. Are we?
And so we go back to the kiosk, and we're done. We're finally done. And so we've got to walk all the way up to the top of the Mandalay Bay. Yeah. Well, there's 6 of us, 6 rooms. And the Mandalay Bay guy took 10 minutes or 12 minutes per room.
It was horrific. I could have had a baby in the time that it took him to get 6 rooms to us. It was like it was the first time he'd ever done this.
It was so painful. So painful. We're dead. We're starving. It's now an hour and a half later. We finally get our rooms. We get in there, and we all crashed. It was done. We stared at each other with that weird zombie look at the dinner table, and we went to bed.
No, so, I mean, Aaron at one point, so he was kind of sitting over there, and Crystal and I are across from each other, and Jamie's next to me, and anyway, it was... And he just looks over at one point, and he's like, I think you guys need to go to bed. And we were like, oh, okay, cool, bye. And like, we didn't even, was the bill paid? We were out. So the 3 of us struggled for sure.
So we go to sleep. We finally get to sleep. We wake up. We get down for breakfast. Breakfast is already kind of a shit show because there's a line. I didn't expect a line an hour and a half before the trade show starts, but there was. So everybody else had the same idea. We get through food, and Jeannie realizes she forgot her name badge. Mm-hmm. I still have to go back in the room and grab a whole bunch of video cameras and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to leave. So I go back, I leave, I go back in there, and you guys are still waiting for the bill. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just give you the look of, move your ass. Yeah. And I start heading towards the trade show because now we have a half an hour to get set up for the first time ever, stop, breathe for once in our entire lives, have a rah-rah speech, and get ready for this what we hope is an onslaught of people at 9:30. Right. And I walk by, and you're still sitting at the counters. And I kind of give you the look of watch and move. And I keep walking.
Yeah. And Okay, so I will fill in this part.
Go for it.
So we're there, and the service, as you said, it was a busy restaurant. The service wasn't fantastic, and so we got the bill, but we also had a timeline because you had said be at the booth at 9. So we were like, okay, we'll be at the booth at 9. So at like 8:50, we get the bill, we sign it, and we walk over. We're not running, but we're leisurely walking. We get to the booth at like 8:59. I mean, I'm like pretty proud of ourselves, right? And you're like, what? So it took 30 minutes to pay a bill? And we were like, and it begins. Okay. And we all were like, okay, well, let's, we'll get set up because that's the most important thing. Like, let's focus on the setup.
Yep.
Only to discover that the key to both the door and the small kiosk is where, Aaron? Where was that key?
Yeah, it was in Jeannie's purse.
And where was Jeannie?
Back at the hotel room getting her name badge.
Yes, she was.
So now we're stuck for another 10 minutes doing out a damn
bad.
thing.
It was bad.
Usually, if my body had been a thermometer, my whole face would have been red and would have been pulsating. I was so pissed.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it well.
Oh, yeah. Not. So 9:28, the booth finally gets set up. We have 2 minutes to have a rah-rah speech.
Yeah.
I had hired a photographer to walk around and film the booth. I said, all right, guys, get together. We got to talk real quick. And he puts the camera in my face. And I'm pretty sure I said, get the fuck out of my face to him and sent him, pack him over there. Stand in the corner till you're ready.
Oh, Aaron.
So he looks at me, he puts his head down. It's the first interaction him and I have ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go, guys, this is our goals. We're trying to bring value. Answer the questions the best you can. If there's a line, we need to move the team through. Give them all the time they can, but don't let them sit there for 3 hours and jaw jack. We got to keep moving people through.
Right.
I want to add as much value to everybody's life as possible and respectful that there's 500, 1,000 different booths at this trade show?
Oh, it was bonkers.
I mean, that's a 3-day event to walk it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, just give them value. Take care of them. Ready, go. And I think I was the only one that clapped. Everybody else kind of gave me the finger on like the forehead like this, like, yeah, got it. And then you guys just turned around and went to your stations. Rightfully so. I had really farmed the value in our team and bringing the team together. And if you guys had been there to any of my speeches, I brought all this up and threw myself under the bus at the trade show for the speeches I gave. Because you got to call a spade a spade. Yeah. When you screw up, you got to share it. You got to own it. We were 10 minutes.
Not even.
Okay, let's say 5-7 minutes from the entrance.
Yeah.
From
the entrance. Yeah. So we were at 10 minutes from the entrance. Okay. In heels.
So we were 10 minutes from the entrance, so you had to walk over to our booth to get there.
Absolutely.
And so when 9:30 hit, they cut the ribbon, everybody came pouring in, and we said at a minimum 9:40 before we start, so we got a little bit of breathing room.
Yep. That's what we thought.
What time was the first person that got to our booth?
Oh my God, like 9:35, 9:36. I mean, it was. I genuinely thought we were going to have 15 minutes, right? We had set up. I was just chilling. I was kind of setting everything up on the demo, and then boom, it hit. And it was like the first one hit, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And all of a sudden, honestly, Aaron, the next time I looked at my watch from when we started at 9:30, I looked down and it was 1:30. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what just happened? And it was still busy. Like people were still coming. It was I've never experienced that. We
had all 5 demonstrations running from 9:35 up until 1 o'clock, and we went down to 2 running. We never had 0.
Yeah.
And then 2 back up to all 4 by 2 o'clock. So from 1 to 2, everybody went to lunch.
Everyone went to lunch, yeah.
And then from 2 to 5 was all 4 with a line. We had a line every single day of all 3 days. We had a line there.
Yeah. So day 1, we bought lunches because I can learn. So we bought lunches on day 1 and made sure that, you had your food, and then we had these other sandwiches, but we didn't even, I don't think I had anything on the first day. Day 2, we went out and got more sandwiches. They all went to waste on day 2. We didn't even, I think the only person who ate was you.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just like, oh, there's food. And then by like 3:30, we realized that there was food. And by 4 o'clock, we were kind of, shutting the booth down. So it was, nobody ate on day 2. Day 3, we didn't even bother getting food. We were just like, you know what? Actually, that was just a humongous waste of money. We saved, $100. And the only person who had a sandwich on day 3 was you. Because none of us ate.
Day 2, I gave everybody an hour to eat their food, and I started vulturizing all the food. I kept going by and just eating. I go by, I'm like, they weren't eating. It's not my problem. I just kept eating and eating. I think I ate 4 lunches on day 2 as I kept wandering around the booth.
Thank God somebody did.
And day 3, I think I had like 5 Cliff Bars because we never got sandwiches.
No, we never got food. Yeah.
No, we never got food.
Yeah.
I think, no, at 11 a.m., Jamie got me those little roll things.
Yeah,
that was 2 bites for $30.
I can't even talk about it.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And so it was just Cliff Bar Central. I mean, I think I was oozing Cliff Bar out of me for the next 2 days, just trying to get it going through. But during the show, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was so humbled by how many people loved us, liked the software, signed up at the booth, said this is a game changer. We had customers coming into the booth, kicking us out of the booth and saying, look, I'm another sign guy. This is how you need to do this.
Yeah.
And just training people right there on the spot.
Yeah. You know who you are, you guys. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You guys are just rock stars. You guys make what we do a success, and I can't even thank you enough.
Yeah.
That one gentleman, he literally came in, sat down and goes, guys, I'm another sign guy owner. This is what you need. And for 20 minutes, he sat with that couple.
I know.
And they signed up.
Yeah, it was bonkers. That's what I love about this show. You know, I mean, obviously, it's nice to, I mean, for you as an owner, it's nice to have new sales. But for me, as the implementer, I love to see all of these people walk by, you know, like people that I've gone and talked to and like had these trainings with. And so I sort of would see them walk by and I'd be like, oh, hey. And then I had one group who they were like, Square Coil, what? Like, you know, they're sort of walking by and we just like, I don't know. I almost next year I want to be the floater. Stephanie can be at the desk because I just want to hang out with everybody. Like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Because one of the things we often talk about is once we've implemented and once they're kind of up and running, we never hear from our customers again, right?
It's true.
They just never call us.
In 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Implementate. We hear them once every single day.
Yeah.
Week 2, we hear them every other day.
Yep.
Week 3, we hear from them once, and that's it.
And that's it.
We never hear from them again.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I loved it. I loved the show.
You know, it's funny. I was a floater as well, and I never floated.
Yeah.
I would get stuck in one person's conversation, answer all their questions.
Yeah.
As soon as I see that they were done, I'd move to the next group and hand was up, answer these questions. And I was just a ping pong ball going back and forth with all the stations.
Yeah, but it was good. It felt good.
Yeah.
I just felt bad. We came back, you know, on Monday and started talking to people and they were just like, yeah, we wanted to come by the booth. Yeah, we wanted to talk to you. And they just didn't have the opportunity. So, I don't know. It was pretty exciting.
I don't know for Orlando because Orlando is a smaller show than Vegas is. But I think for Vegas, we might have to get a bigger booth and 2 more, 3 more stations. Because that's not fair to have people stand in line. They're trying to see all these people. They're trying to grow their company. We are one piece, a critical piece. I know we are a very critical piece of everybody's company, but we are one piece.
Yeah.
And to have them spend a majority of the time in our booth, that's,
yeah,
I want them to get in, feel the value, see what's right, sign up, answer the questions if they're existing customer, and then move on to something else and go learn something else new.
Yeah.
But it was that one. And then day 2, I spoke.
I know.
On day 2, I had a 30-minute learning lounge on leadership and ownership.
Yeah.
And they limited me to a half an hour. And also got to talk to days and days and days about this. Part one of the reason why we have the podcast. And I want to just give them the real tippy-top value-added stuff at this.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys were not at the show, let me explain this layout. It was about 40 feet wide. They had chairs at the front, and they had like couches and semi-chairs, so it looked a little loungy area. And it sat probably about 70 people inside that. And it was about 40 feet wide, 60 feet long. And then they put us up on a little stage that was like 1.5 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
When I started talking on leadership and ownership, there was standing room by 3 people. So every single seat was taken, and we had 2 or 3 people stand up in the back.
Yeah.
And that equaled the biggest show of the trade show for those 2 days because we were the booth next to it.
Yeah, we couldn't have been more perfectly placed. We were right next to the booth. Yeah.
And so we got to see everything and see exactly what. So I was like, wow, I'm one of the bigger. I guess I'm one of the bigger speakers here for this learning lounge.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes into it, I picked my head up and actually surveyed the room, and we had formed an oval from stage left to stage right, all the way around all the seating area.
Yeah, we actually, our booth ended up getting people in it, like, but with their backs to us. And I was like, excuse me. But they were all listening.
They were all listening. And then 20 minutes into the speech, we had 4 to 5 people deep, standing room only. And ended up being almost 250 people listening to my speech in the half hour.
Awesome.
So if you guys missed that speech, if you weren't at the Learning Lounge during that time, we did record it. We are going to throw it up on YouTube for you guys to see that and listen to that speech. I tiptoed across all the peaks of the good information. I would love to spend, a podcast on each conversation I did in that speech, but please take a look at YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube only. Take a look at that conversation, and you'll see that speech, and hopefully you get some value out of that. But it ended up being great.
Yeah. I think all in all, it was a really good show. And we all learned a lot. I learned about food, really.
If you could take away something from the ISA, what would it be? Subway sandwiches.
Subway sandwiches. I'm going to, next year, those vests, where people hold, weapons and whatever. I'm just going to have pre-made sandwiches in, just hidden on my body. And so when you come by, I'm just going to be like, whoop-pow, here's a sandwich. Whoop-pow. I'm just going to, just give you sandwiches.
Hangry is a thing. It is definitely a thing.
But I think, it shows how committed you are to success, right? To the success of this company's Square Coil, but also to the success of other people's companies. If we rested on our laurels, we could have just had the same booth. We could have had, the same number of people and just kind of sat back and said, hey, we think we're doing a pretty good job. But that's not your jam. That's not how you roll, and that's not how you teach us to roll, which is fantastic. You're always like, hey, what's the next best thing? How can I move forward? How can I do this? And so that booth is a perfect example of, this is my 10 years. I'm going to go from a table with a tablecloth, bless your heart, to, this massive booth that almost broke my team. But next year we're going to know it like white on rice. And who knows, next year do we grow, or the next Vegas do we grow, because you're not content with mediocrity, which I appreciate.
No, not at all. I don't want that. I mean, I feel bad for the people that are on our competitor software. Oh, I know, because they got 5 upgrades in the whole year.
I know.
We push 20 every month.
I know. One of them was like, hey, so you guys are online? I'm like, yeah, we're just online. They're like, oh, yeah. That must be nice. Yeah, it's the 21st century.
I don't even know how my competitors are competitors. I really don't. I don't understand how they can never change the software. We're constantly evolving that machine. People ask, when's your next push? I was like, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how many do you have? I said, I think 12 new toys.
Yeah.
And 3 bug fixes.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. There's some bug fixes. We find out that people click left, right. We always thought it was right, left.
Yeah.
And so we find that breaks the codes. You got to fix it. We're on it. We fix all our bugs within days, of it finding it.
Yeah. I mean, you call our office, you talk to you talk to people, right? There's no answer machine. There's no, oh, we'll get back to you. It's, yeah.
Aftermath after the show.
Yes, sir.
146 leads.
Yes.
18 leads off the website 3 days after we got back from the show.
Yep.
Huge numbers.
Huge numbers.
And we, on average, normally land 25% of those.
Yeah.
The other 75%, he and Ha, and we ended up seeing them over the next year or so, and they slowly buy over the next year.
Yeah.
But we have a 90% kill ratio. Oh, if you were to look at it in a year-long fashion, almost every single person does end up signing up.
Yep.
Our kill ratio and our keep ratio is huge.
Yeah. Our retention is for the type of company that we run, our retention is bar none.
Yeah. We're at 94% retention, 95% retention.
Yeah.
And the people that do cancel is only because they never launched it.
Never launched it, or just infighting. Sometimes there's just so much miscommunication on the inside that we find that we're a fit for half the group, and then the other half have sort of rebelled. It's very odd, Aaron, actually.
Yeah, I don't want to get into all that on this podcast, yes, but there is, I definitely want to talk. I'm going to, in the future podcast, I will dive deep into that because people need to really understand all of that, but I'm not going to get into it here.
No. It was great. It
was
a great show.
The aftermath was huge. So many people called up. I got to play mini celebrity. People were coming up off the podcast and saying, hi, how are you? And introducing themselves. And we'd only been out for 2 weeks, which means our message was getting out there. So that was humbling as well.
Yeah.
To have people come and say, oh, you're in from the podcast. I was like, that's amazing that the message is already getting out.
Yeah. And how many people that had already listened to it and had learned some things from it, which I was very impressed with as well, and these are other owners of companies, they're on this same par, and they're just like, yeah, I listened to Aaron. I hadn't even thought about things from this perspective, or I hadn't thought of that before. It was very cool.
It was neat. It was really neat. My biggest one that I enjoyed the most, that I got my ego up there, was a gentleman, 150 employees, huge company. And he just goes, man, you're doing it right. Keep it going. And that was really neat to have him say that. So I really respected and appreciated that.
Yeah.
But that was, I wanted to share that with you guys. That's the backstory of the trade shows and what goes on our walls. It's not all glamorous. We're not showing up, and kicking the limo door out saying time to say hi to you guys. It's a lot of backbreaking work and sweat and tears to get you guys where we want you to be, which is a lot of value, in and out, simple success, simple answers. But yeah, that's behind the scenes of the ISA Expo this year.
It was fun. I can't wait for next year.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.